That's my litmus test is if I run a joke past my wife and she does laugh, I know to not tell it on stage. Because she has a completely different sense of humor. She's far more pun-based with her humor. So if she laughs at something, usually I won't throw it in there. There's been a couple of times she's actually gone, yeah, that's good, and it's actually worked out in my favor.
Okay. I deal with dark humor on my side. He only laughs at shit that'll probably send me to hell.
That's fair.
I'm like, all right.
I enjoy the ride there.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. You said in the last thing that you were in, you said that you're a dad and a stepdad?
Yep, I have 2 daughters. I have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. And the oldest is my stepdaughter, or as I like to say, she's a rescue.
She's a rescue. Nice. Does that make it difficult to go on tour like you want to? That's a personal question because I would love to know.
A little bit. There are times that I know that I will not book a show, like their birthdays, or sometimes if it's a really important game, because my oldest is in softball and she also loves basketball. So if there's a really important game.
Oh, you panned out. You panned out. You said if it was a really important game, and then you went completely silent.
Now you're muted.
Myself. Yeah.
There you go.
There we are.
And I occasionally just disconnect my microphone, and then I've got to reconnect it real quick.
Okay. So if it's a really important game, you're going to purposely be there. That's like good dad stuff.
Yeah, I'll be there because I don't want to be one of those where I'm just watching my daughter from a phone screen, because, I don't want to be deadbeat stepdad or something like that. But, my wife has always been supportive of me going out and doing my thing because, like I said, I've been working since I was 11 years old, and it was always construction and manual labor. And this is finally just something where I'm like, I actually want to do this rather than a paycheck. And I want to show my daughters that you can do something that you enjoy and still take care of your family doing that.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I can't do that right now, but eventually I will.
There are a lot of people that think that after you have a kid, your dreams are over. So for you to be, dad and stepdad and then still pursuing your dreams, that's really, really good.
I'm trying my best. Unfortunately, my oldest daughter occasionally picks up on that and tries to be a Twitch streamer and things like that. So she's getting the fame bug occasionally.
Yeah. I mean, she gets 50 followers, she can start getting paid. Why not?
Not when she's 10. I'm not dealing with that on the internet.
No.
No, we will wait till she is older, and then I'll let her have this studio or something like that. She'll have a little mini studio, but not when she's 10 with the internet how it is.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to be one of those parents that exploits their kids. That's just like recording literally everything they do.
Like Ryan. I could just say Ryan, and most people know who I'm talking about. Ryan's World.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
It clicked.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to my daughter. I want them to enjoy being kids without it coming back to haunt them because dad wanted likes and follows.
Yeah.
I'll tell stories about them all day, but I'm not going to record them.
Definitely. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I embarrass the hell out of them.
Yep.
And Destiny will tell you, I even take my my 11-year-old to do stand up.
Yeah. Take her to open mics and things like that.
Yeah, he does his own. He'll do his own 5-minute set.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
And my daughter,
what does he even do?
She'll be 10 this coming year, and she's been performing as well. So we've got 2 kids that do it down here.
What do they even talk about on stage?
My son talks about Wednesday Addams. He talks about a rooster that we used to own. He talks about his grandmother. He talks about me. And he came up with almost all of it. I wrote a couple jokes for him to help him out, but for the most part, he came up with all of it himself. I'll set up the microphone, and he'll get the microphone in his hand, and we'll sit in the living room, and he'll go over it and over it, and we'll work on his wording and stuff.
That's
Punch up his
great.
jokes occasionally.
Oh yeah,
Teach him how to properly fuck a stool.
something like that. But I mean, he enjoys it. He hadn't done it in a while, but
Okay.
he's focused on being an Olympic swimmer.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, and then Audie, her
Yeah.
daughter, just calls
she's
her
my-
out on everything.
Yeah, Adriana likes to call me out on absolutely everything. And the last time she performed was a couple months ago at Oyster City Brewery. And she gets up there, she tells a couple knock jokes that she doesn't know that everybody's heard 4 million times. And she roasts me. And the last time she's got this little bit that if she just worked on it, it would do great. It would do so great, especially coming from the point of view of a child. Like, my favorite thing that I threw in there was like, hey, you should get up there and say, you know what snitches get? And she did that. She said, you know what snitches get? And everybody said stitches. And she goes, no, they get whoopings. So just the kid-based humor with some slight adult things thrown in there. There's some stuff that I wish she could say, but she really is too damn young to be saying that stuff out loud. And she roasted me this last go and just said that I looked like a ghost just because I was wearing white. And whenever I got up there, they were like, Dustin, you got to roast her back or you can't come back. I was like, oh, it's all right. But who the hell wears long pants under a long dress anyhow? And then I just started, and Adriana was like, you let me leave the house like this.
You dressed me.
She dresses herself. She's on the scale of like let's say it's called creepy kawaii or pastel goth. Like she's
okay.
Yeah, she's that creepy kid, but I love her for sure.
My oldest is definitely turning into an emo kid like her mom.
It happens.
The youngest is a pretty little princess, but
well, I tell my daughter, I'm like, you can't just stop wearing all these colors. You're gonna go through mood spans where you're happy and you're sad, and you're happy and you're sad, and we're gonna work on that together. And I mean, hell, I could see us doing photo shoots one day where she's this creepy goth kid and then I'm wearing the same shit just in white. And I mean, I plan on flowing with that pretty good. Is your 5-year-old the one you made?
Yep. The 5-year-old is mine. Mine and
Does
my
she look
wife
like
together.
you?
A little bit, yeah. We've been told that she looks more like me, which is unfortunate, but she's yeah, my oldest has definitely, thank God, taken after her mother. My wife's Puerto Rican, so she's got nice tan skin. My daughter's all legs. Like, she's, like I said, 10 years old and like almost 5 foot something. I forget off the top of my head.
Yep, mine is 9 and she's over 5 feet now.
And she's got dark, like thick, curly hair, beautiful brown eyes, and then my 5-year-old is just a little tiny, pale, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Hitler wet dream.
Well stated. I mean, nice. Is that your natural hair color? Because I see you're blue right now, right?
Yeah, I'm blue and purple. That is because my wife is a professional stylist, and she loves doing vivids, but everybody in Iowa wants to be a blonde. No offense. But and so she wants to do vivids, and I don't really care what happens to my hair. And so whenever she gets inspired to want to do something, I just let her go to town.
Man, that's a reason to marry a guy.
So yeah, like all over my my Instagram, things like that. And even if you look through my TikToks, my hair just changes every 6 weeks. It'll be, because yeah, just a few weeks ago it was green and blue. So
I like she's going down a scale.
Yeah, just depends on our mood when we finally get to when I'm supposed to be in the chair, because it's got to be every 6 weeks, because otherwise it would disappear with too
Look like
much.
that.
Yeah, it'd look like that, or it'd be gone with how much she would have to pull out.
You mean like that?
Yep, exactly. You and I would be twinsies. I just wouldn't have as good of a mustache.
This mustache
Not
is such a
everybody
tiny
can pull
feature.
off the Mario.
That's true. Not everybody can pull down the lower mustache either. A little flavor saver.
Oh yeah. I have to keep a little bit of facial hair, or I don't like the way my lower lip looks or my upper lip for whatever reason. So I've always had facial hair since I was 14.
Okay. Yeah, this is all that kind of grows in, but I still have to have this because I've got this little baby face here. So I've got to have some whatever hair will grow. That way at least somebody will believe me when I tell them I'm 31.
Yeah.
They
I
still
still get
don't.
I still get carded if I shave all the way.
Oh yeah. Thankfully I've got, I'm covered in these, so it at least gives me somewhat there's still been a couple of times they're like, "But are you 21?" I'm like, "Look at the pain behind my eyes and tell me any 21-year-old that has this much.
Yeah.
Just give me the cigarettes, dude."
Yeah. Like my eyes are black like a shark. Just give me what I want and let me go.
Right?
So I I I used to have a beard down to here, and
Whew.
then when I changed jobs, they were like, you gotta be clean shaven, you can have the mustache. The flavor saver has to be trimmed up, so I had to keep it at a certain length for the respirator. But
Oh, okay. Firefighter?
no, I build Navy ships.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a boiler maker.
Nice. It's a
So
hell of a job.
Which I knew
Yeah.
him for over a year before he said, "I'm a boilermaker." He goes, "I'm a shipbuilder."
yeah.
Same.
And my
Yeah.
father's a boilermaker. If I could just pass my damn tests, and I'd be a 5th-generation boilermaker. I was sitting there hanging out with a boilermaker, and I had no clue for a year and something.
I've been a truck driver for about a decade now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that makes the touring thing a little easier.
Well, I don't go over the road. It does make things easier only because I have enough vacation days to go on the road. So I stick within Iowa, and I'm home. I'm home every night, which is what I wanted to do because I wasn't gonna be gone over the road and then come back see my daughters for 15 minutes and then be like, "Cool, I've got a gig. See ya." So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I drive locally, drive a semi, and just make deliveries home every night, and then not all weekends yet, I will have a gig, and if I can get vacation time, I'll take a Friday off and go off and do a show.
Nice.
So it does make things easier with having 3 weeks of vacation at this job that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can break that up to just like go, all right, I'm taking this Friday and this Friday or Wednesday through Friday off. I don't have to take it a full week at a time.
Yeah. I have to use 2, 6, or 8 hours. Wait, no. 2, 4, or 8.
Okay.
So it's like like last week I wanted to take off early on a Friday to go somewhere for my
Yeah.
kid swimming, and they were like, you got to use either 4 or 8 hours or 2 hours. Like, why can't I use 6?
Right.
They're like, it's not set up that way.
2, 4, not 6, 8.
Yeah. I was like, this is dumb. I was like, why can't I use 6 hours? If I have to use it in increments of 2s, why is 6 skipped?
Wait, so can you do 4 and then a 2?
Don't make him do math. You're going to hurt him.
That no, they won't let you do it because well, you'd have to fill the paper out twice. I guess you could technically do that, but they'll probably turn it down because it's 6 hours.
This
I don't
sounds like
know.
war too to me.
Sounds like corporate America to me.
No.
Sounds like modern day slavery.
Let's see.
Well, I mean, you're getting paid.
Yeah, that's the difference. Are you drinking a Capri Sun?
I am. Or a Kool-Aid jammer.
Kool-Aid jammer.
They're mine. It's okay. I'm not stealing from my kids. I have different ones that I set aside for myself.
I wasn't gonna judge you if you were taking them from the kids.
I mean, I'm buying them anyways.
Yeah, right. I spent the money.
Love those things.
Right. Oh, how long have you guys been doing comedy?
I think I'm up to 4 years.
Okay.
I'm closing in on 2. I've got 2 months till 2 years.
Right on.
Yeah, but I saw you've got a bunch of different things coming up. You've got, now I know you've got the Whippersnapper comedy at Cedar Street Social in Mobile on August 29th. That's Whippersnapper comedy. It's going to be a great show. Me and Cody are both going to be on it. Yeah, rock and roll. You've also got on your Facebook that I did stalk the Waterfront Hall.
Yep, Waterfront Hall in Wheeling, West Virginia, which I believe is my biggest venue to date. Like I've always done like dive bars, and which nothing wrong. I love doing dive bars, and I guess I've done a couple of like smaller theaters in like smaller towns, but yeah, this will be like an actual hall that I'm doing in West Virginia, and that'll be my first time performing there, like in that state.
That's fancy. That's a lot of space to fill in.
Yeah, so hopefully people turn out. I saw the poster and they called me a TikTok star, which made me chuckle, but
well, videos that you share on your Facebook from your TikTok did crack me up.
Oh, thank you for that.
When they said, what was it? What job should you have based on your face? And they gave you a cop, and you're like, I would rather you called me a slur.
Yep.
That was funny shit.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of my, it wasn't my first viral video, but it was one of the few that I've had where it's hit a couple million. The first one was me talking about my wife doing my hair. And that one was what got me close almost to my 50,000. And then I think the cop video and a few others kind of put me over the edge. And then, hopefully I can keep going and break that 50,000 little plateau that I've hit right now.
Yeah. Hell of a lot, man. Hell of a lot. That's impressive. You've also got a con of horrors and an oddities and art expo. Is that something you just go to, or do you sell things there? Do you have?
Oh, that's just something my wife and I are going to go to.
Okay,
yep,
my bad.
That's just something that we enjoy. She's a goth, so we love little weird things. Like, I mean, everything you see behind me is all comic book nerdy stuff, but that's just
because this Puerto Rican goth wife.
Oh yeah, and MILF. And bisexual, nymphomaniac, Puerto Rican goth MILF.
Dude, you hit the lottery. You know how many men would freaking like kill for a woman like that?
It is I don't know why she's with me. She doesn't like men.
It's just any bisexual woman actually likes men. We just, we like y'all, I guess.
They just find the one that can actually make them come, and they stick with that because they're too nervous to talk to women.
Yeah, no. I mean, anytime I drink, I've definitely talked to women.
That's the thing about the Oddity Expo. That's why I'm going with her. Is there's too many attractive goth women there running the booths, and she would not be able to talk to any of them. She'd just stand in the corner, panicking, going, "You're really pretty." Yep.
Oh, I get it. So, like, do you have any other things you do? You don't do any art type stuff, or is this your prime hobby?
Stand up, yeah, is my prime hobby. Yeah, I game a little bit. Like, I built my PC. That's what I'm on right now for my studio. Eventually, I want to get into doing voiceover work, and eventually, I'm going to start a series where it's sort of like a mystery science theater, but with shitty B-list horror movies.
Oh,
Something,
okay.
just because I loved horror movies forever, but it's as much as I love the very big box office hits of like your well-known horror movies, usually if I'm at home, I go on Amazon or Netflix and whatever has the lowest stars possible, like the lowest rating, that's the one I want to watch. I love watching just poorly made B-list horror movies.
Oh yeah,
Have you seen
I've done.
Zombies?
Yep.
Yay!
I've seen that.
I haven't met another person that's seen that.
What's the other zombie movie? Surviving a zombie apocalypse in a bathroom stall.
It sounds familiar.
I haven't seen that one.
My favorite one that I love bringing up that I've only had one other person tell me that she knows the movie, and she and I became best friends immediately because of it when I was performing in Texas. It's Attack of the Killer Deer Women. It is the most beautiful piece of art because it is so awful. The one part that got me was the beginning scene, and it starts out at like a truck stop, I believe, and dude picks up a lot lizard that, or so he thinks, and they're in the truck and they're getting hot and heavy, and then all of a sudden, bad cut, you see the clouds move to the side to see the full moon, and then the woman just like camera starts shaking, cutting, and then hard cut, taxidermy deer head right in front of the camera. And then he starts panicking, doing your classic while the camera just goes nyeh, 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 and they just start beating the shit out of him with the taxidermied feet of the deer. Just start beating him, like just doing that while he's going like this, and then cut to outside the truck, it's shaking, and then scene ends. I'm like, this is art. I'm watching art.
It was like somebody was like, "Hey, we're due for a movie. What can we do in the next 24 hours?"
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, it's like werewolves, but it's just hot women turning into deer that kill men.
Beating them with their hooves.
Yep, they just beat them to death with their hooves.
But I have to check this movie out.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Attack of the Killer Deer Women, correct?
Yep, and there's oh yeah, mutant zombie vampires from the hood. Yeah, it's a long title. It's your classic case of like cops try to do a sting operation where they are going to do a drug bust. They're going into a warehouse to stop the bad drug dealers. And the way they show that the evil is coming is they just put a very bad green filter over the sky. But it's just kind of over everything. And so it's cops and drug dealers trying to fight mutant zombie vampires in, you know, the Bronx or wherever they're supposed to be, like in the ghetto.
Wait, what's the difference between a zombie and a vampire?
No, they're both. They're mutant zombie vampires, and they're from the hood.
Zombie vampires from the hood.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Those are. I just love bad horror movies as much as I love the Hellraisers. Like my favorite movie of all time is the Evil Dead franchise, like Evil Dead 2 and all that. Like Bruce Campbell will always be my number one. But yeah, it's just something about poorly made horror movies that just something in my heart, special place in my heart.
I got to watch the series.
What'd you think about the Leprechaun origin?
Leprechaun. It's probably the only reason Warwick Davis still has checks coming in.
Because you know they did what it was like. I think it's like 7 movies.
Yeah, it's at least 6 or 7 because he's gone to space, he's gone to the hood, he's
Yeah,
gone.
he did 2 in the hood. He did 1 in space.
Yep,
He did 1 in Vegas,
that was 3. Number 3 was in Vegas.
and then
1 and 2 were just regular. I think the first one had like a young Jennifer Aniston in it.
yeah, Jennifer Aniston was in the very first one.
Yep.
And then they did an origin, and the origin one was done by WWE.
Really?
Yeah, and it's awful.
I didn't know WWE produced that one.
So awful. So go check that one out.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have like the typical Leprechaun, and it's supposed to be in the franchise.
Okay. There's I thought they did one where he was going up against Ginger Dead Man.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I know there's a movie. There's a full 2 separate franchises that are amazing to check out. I've seen them, like the full series of each of them on Amazon. It's Ginger Dead Man, where it's just like a sentient gingerbread man played by like Gary Busey, I believe.
Okay.
And the other one is The Evil Bong. And,
I think I've heard of The Evil Bong.
And they've done like at least 2 or 3 movies where the Ginger Dead Man has fought the Evil Bong.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have 4 movies on here that technically are 5s that I need to go watch.
Oh yeah, Ginger Dead Man, there's at least 3 or 4 of those, and same with the Evil Bong, not including the ones where they've come together to clash.
What? Okay.
Yep.
That's kind of like
I'm more of a watch the original one of the series and then go from there kind of person.
Yeah, I got you.
It's kind of like the franchise Wishmaker.
Oh, okay, Wishmaker. Yep, I'm familiar.
Yeah, that one's so terrible.
That one, or there's Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yep, that is just like every 505 years, a shaman had cursed like a turkey to come back to life and just kill people. And so, like, in the movie, is just a turkey puppet that's just, he's a smart mouth, swearing and talking shit the whole time and just killing people off. Thanksgiving. I think there's at least 3 or 4 of those.
That sounds funny.
There's one my wife and I lost our minds over a while back, Killer Sofa. And it was like this serial killer was obsessing over this woman, but she, never gave him the time of day because he's a creep. And so he ends up using voodoo magic to off himself and infuse himself into this recliner and leave it outside her house. And you see a recliner outside your house, you're gonna bring it inside. I did not bring that one inside from. I did not. Oh yeah, my dogs are back in there.
Oh, yeah. No, I was talking about white chicks with puppy dogs.
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah,
same thing. But she brings it inside, and he just starts like obsessing over her and watching her. And the thing about it is like the buttons that are on like where like you can see the crease on my recliner. There's just little 2 buttons there, and then the bottom crease is like his mouth. And at one point, they literally just show it fully standing up from like the seat part. He's standing on that somehow. And it's just standing up, and you see him all grumpy face, and he's trying to attack them as a recliner. It's called Killer Sofa, but he's a recliner.
But they need a rebranding.
Yeah, that was another just beautiful piece of art. I can see it.
This is good to know.
So that's my hobbies, is bad horror movies, and eventually I'll turn it into a series once I finish up my studio and I finish school, because I'm going back to school to get my broadcasting degree.
That's cool. That'll help with the networking as well, yeah.
I'm hoping so. And there was a small portion about 3-4 years ago when I was driving a truck for a different company that I won't name because I'm not going to give them any credit, even though I'm about to talk trash about them. I got into an accident to where I was coming down a hill on like a residential like dirt road because they made me go on there to make deliveries. And I was coming down a hill and I went to press the brakes and I wasn't stopping. And I was coming up on a highway, like I was about to get to a highway, and I jammed my foot on the brakes and I pulled a emergency brake, and eventually the truck starts stopping, but the trailer does not. And I end up, the whole truck just turns and the driver's side slams against the side of the trailer, dents the gas tank. Thank God doesn't bust the gas tank open. And I end up stranded about 40 minutes away from the main hub, but it takes them 9 hours to get me home. And all they said was like, okay, see you tomorrow. And I walked in the next day and I quit. And that's when I ended up doing stand up for a few weeks. Like my wife and I talked about it. I was like, I'm gonna try doing stand up, like take a break, because it was a very traumatic thing that happened to me. So I got booked in like Colorado. I went off and did a little small tour. And then we realized that funds were getting tight, so I needed to go back to work. But I didn't want to drive a truck because was still reeling from that. It was only like 2 weeks after that. And I ended up, by some miracle, getting a job at a radio, like a radio station, as the morning radio host. Like, they loved the sound of my voice, and they just put me on as the main host all by myself. And I did it for 3 months, but I was driving about 30-40 minutes out of my way to go to the radio station, and they were only paying me $12 an hour. So I couldn't afford bills on $12 an hour with how much I was driving. So I did it for 3 months, loved it, but had to go back into trucking. So I just I decided then, like, once I started driving again, I was going to go back to school and get my broadcasting degree. And hopefully that was going to be something to convince people to bring me into a different radio station, maybe a little bit closer, or at least pay me a little bit more so that I could actually do that. Yeah. Take care of my family, because as much as I love stand-up, I do also, turns out I love doing radio and audio editing and everything like that.
I believe you. I would love to have a job like that, honestly. I had a friend that down here we knew as there's 92 The Zoo that we listen to. It's the alternative station, and his name was Tony, and he was on every morning, and he had such a smart damn mouth to him that they gave him a special button to push at, like, as a disclaimer about it being his opinion that he was saying. So he would just say some stuff and then on that button. And he I mean, heck, he got tickets to great festivals. He got to meet artists and interview them. Like, I got a job like that. That's my job for life, personally. But I also live like less than 10 minutes from most broadcasting stations down here.
Okay. Yeah, the 3 months that I worked at the station, I ended up making some friends. Like, I made friends with because it was a country radio station, and they had some big festival in the town. So each week they brought a different country music artist, and I ended up making friends with one of them. Like, we ended up adding each other on like Instagram and on TikTok. Casey Johns, she's huge in Nashville right now and has had like 3 albums out. So I was able to make a couple of connections, but I'm hoping to get back into it eventually.
I would really love that. So I'm jelly. But I mean, rock and roll, man. It's kind of odd having a situation where, like, you've got these friends that do music and stuff, and your brain is like, I can't be like, hey, you want a comedian to open up for you? It's not exactly the match we hear all that often.
I had something like that come up a long time ago when I was first into comedy. It was like it was my second year into comedy. I started working with with another comedian, and he and I started co-hosting an open mic together. And at one point, he approached me. He's like, "Hey, man, I've got like somebody that puts together a rock festival, and they want comedians to go in between the bands to, like, while they're setting up, just tell jokes to kill time. That way there's not just silence and they're watching as everybody, tunes their guitar and stuff like that." And I was like, "Well, how much time are they doing that?" Like I said, I'd only been doing it for 2 years. He's like, "Probably about 45 minutes or more in between each band because they need a lot of time to set up." I was like, "Dude, I've got 20 minutes at best." I was like, and he wanted us like to go up. It was just going to be he and I, and there was at least 8 bands. So we would have needed to go up and do 45 minutes in between each band. So I was like, dude, as fun as that would be, there's no way in hell I'd be able to do one in between, let alone 4 or 5.
You can't do the same 45 minutes for four rounds.
That's a lot of crowd work. But I found out about 6 months after that, after we said no, he's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, you know that gig that I told you about with the rock show? Yeah, they were prepared to pay us about $3,000 each." I was like, "Dude, I would have done all of the crowd work." I would have asked every single person in the crowd where are they from and what do they do, just for that type of money. Done.
Right?
Absolutely. Did.
But that probably would have put a damper on my stand-up career, just bombing 4 times for 45 minutes at a time.
I don't know. For $3,000, I'd do it.
Oh, I'd for sure do it. My ego would take a hit, but I'd still have $3,000 in my pocket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Man.
So
I could buy a new shitty vehicle to leave.
Right.
I'm sitting here thinking I should hit up musical things coming up and be like, by the way, would you like comedians to perform in between performances just to keep things alive?
I've known there's been a few big name comedians that have done stuff like that. Like Big J Okerson used to go on tour with Korn, and he would open up for them. And he's done it for like Rob Zombie, but rock shows are not the place for stand-up comedy. Like as fun as they are, they don't want to laugh. They want to sit there and just get drunk and hear the songs that they like and try to get laid.
Yeah, Korn. Oh yeah. But maybe if it's like dark fucking humor. Dark humor.
I mean, I talk about eating ass and things like that, and I still don't think I don't really think they'd care.
I don't think that counts as dark humor.
You don't know how I talk about eating ass.
You're right. All I heard was your little quick snippet you did earlier.
Exactly. So it could get darker. It could always get darker.
It's referred to as the black hole from time to time, right?
I prefer the chocolate starfish.
The brown eye.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my brain just said, what about the octopus entrance? But that's a reference to something we did the other day. You said you can fit a whole octopus up the anus, and then the octopus turns around and pokes his beak out of your booty hole.
Make it its new mouth. Well, they say your butthole can stretch to a point actually like a raccoon could squeeze in there.
4 inches. You can fit a raccoon and a half.
Yep.
Who put half a raccoon up somebody's ass?
I'd be more concerned about the half a raccoon than the full raccoon, honestly.
Yeah.
Because not only are you now talking about bestiality, you're talking about necrophilia.
It only made it halfway. Get it out. Get it out.
It was too tight. I cut it in half.
Oh.
I sneezed and squeezed too quickly, and that was the end of Squeakers.
Oh, poor like bandit. He's dead.
No, not Mittens. He was my best friend.
Very best. The very best. Well, if you could open for anybody, who would you pick? Like, if you could just pick anybody to open up for, who would you pick?
Jim Norton. Without question, it would be Jim Norton. He only does a lot in New York right now. He occasionally goes on tour, like for a couple of shows, but I've listened to every single one of his specials at least 9 times, every single one. He's one of my bigger inspirations when it comes to comedy, just of how dirty he is, but how well put together each of his stories is, and his like analogies and things like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plus, he's a distinguished and like accomplished broadcaster now. He's on Sirius XM, and he's been doing it for years. And like good friends with Ozzy Osbourne and a bunch of other like rock stars because he's interviewed them all.
I've probably heard his voice before. I used to have Sirius XM, and I stayed on. Had 3 main stations I would visit. Four main stations I would visit, and it was the rock channel, the reggae channel, the alternative channel, and early 2000s R&B, and that was for my mom.
Okay. I forget what channel he was on.
Leave my mom out of this.
Seems like a few people have a thing for your mom.
A lot of people have a thing for my mom. She's a beautiful individual.
Okay.
For sure. I was about to share a picture, but I was like, that's not necessary.
That's not necessary. Kind of picture are we talking here?
I have something over here that I could just click and be like, there she is. Click, there she goes.
It's like a drop, but it's just a picture of your mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got this one. This one's one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's actually the only spare picture that sits over there.
That's the only one that you've got?
That's the only spare picture that sits in my little load up over here.
Oh, okay.
The other ones have to do with the Friday night games, which if you happen to, do you have Cards Against Humanity or no?
I do. Yep.
You do? Well, I have I don't know if I have you written down for it, but I'll be doing that this Friday if you're available. So
I will have to check my schedule after this.
Tomorrow.
Okay. I'll see. I'll have to see what I'm doing after this.
You don't have to say yes. I do the Cards Against Humanity every.
I wasn't gonna.
Done. I feel like that was the transition moment. I should be wearing something else now or something.
Screen wipe. We'll be back after these commercials.
Brought to you by Cody Tiano.
I'm not actually sponsoring this. I don't have the money to sponsor it. I don't have the money and you can't afford me. It's a catch-22.
That's fair. Sitting here thinking about everything, but nothing at the same time.
About life.
Any questions?
Me?
Yes.
No. I'm a blank slate right now.
Blank slate. Flabbergasted you that much?
Well, I mean, so far, what's your favorite show that you've done, like, traveling? Like, favorite area so far?
Favorite area?
Because I know, like, I've done Pensacola, I've done Mobile, I've done a bunch of Mississippi, and I know that, like, one area, I have a set of jokes that'll kill, and then 30 minutes down the road in another venue, I'll hear crickets with the exact same set. And it's like, it hurts the ego so damn bad. You're like, last night it was perfect. What's going on tonight?
I've definitely had that. I would say, surprisingly, my favorite crowds that I've done has been in like North Dakota and like Wyoming. It's just something about like those two. Like I've headlined in both those places, and it was just like with the Wyoming gig, it was a huge bar, and there was at least like 100 some people, and it was just about like the environment that I was in. Like I was planning on doing my material, and then I ended up doing like a half hour or more of just crowd work because like the bartender there was like a MILF like Destiny's mom, and her three kids were in the background, or not the background, like in the back of the bar. And so I just kept messing with them, saying like hitting on their mom and trying to get their mom laid by one of the patrons in the bar and screwing with them. And it was the same thing with North Dakota where it was such a lively crowd that like they were just there for a good time. They were here no matter what the joke was. I ended up throwing out like a couple of premises and they still absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say surprisingly, like, because normally when people talk about their favorite places or places they've been, which I've been to, like I said, New York, I've been to New Orleans, everything like that. And I love New York, and in New Orleans, I ended up performing in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. And I did not even realize it was happening. I just showed up there and I was like, there are a ton of people here. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And I looked it up and it was Mardi Gras. And I was on Bourbon Street, like not actually on the street, but I was in a bar just on Bourbon Street performing. And then afterwards, me and the guy that I was there performing with, we just walked out and checked out Bourbon Street. And that was my first time experiencing Mardi Gras. So I love those places, but it was just something about Wyoming and North Dakota. It was just a ton of fun.
Yeah. Okay.
And hopefully Alabama and West Virginia are going to be just the same.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be my first time in both those states.
Yeah, Alabama's nice. I like Alabama. There are a lot of people that are like my man, he does not like it here. I like it here. I like my people.
Well, I've got a good mix of places I'm going to. I think I'm starting out in Huntsville, and then the next day I'll be down in Mobile with you guys. And then I got a day off that I might sneak my way up to Nashville and meet up with a couple of rock stars that I made friends with when I was there. And then my last night, I'm headlining in Fort Payne.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I got a good mix of places there in Alabama that I'll be able to experience.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
See what it all has to offer for me.
I'm happy you're making it down here. Maybe, I mean, I don't know what our schedule allows, but if you just want to shoot the shit sometime while you're down here, then we do need to schedule a couple future dated things. So you can come shoot the shit with us at some point while you're down here.
Okay. Right on. Yeah, I'll try to. I'm gonna keep my hotel in Huntsville and just make the drive down, but I'll try to drive down early on the 29th when I'm there, and we'll all go out and do something.
Yep. No stress, but it'd be pretty cool.
All right. I'm not going to say yes to it yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Never
be like,
forget.
I know I said yes, but actually
it's a maybe.
It ain't happening.
It's a strong maybe leaning towards no.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
That's fair. At least you're honest.
Yeah, because I still have a thing that I do every time I'm in a new state. It's just a little thing for my wife. Because despite the fact that I'm 31, I'm an old man. And so I love going antiquing and just like little oddity shops. And so every time I'm in a new state that I haven't been before and I'm performing more than one day, so I'm gone, I'll always bring back my wife a little owl figurine. Like I always try to find the weirdest looking owl that I can find in a thrift store or something like that. Because it started out like I was in Wisconsin. This was the first time I ever did it. I was gone for the weekend and I was just walking along the pier and I just saw a little sign that said weird stuff and pointed towards a shop. I was like, well, that's where I'm going. And I found this like terracotta owl that was like really haunted looking, had like these really weird, like long eyes. I was like, you're coming home with me. Because my wife loves owls, and I gave it to her, and that was just the one that sparked it. And we just kind of, ever since, I bring home a little owl. Of course, she got mad at me when I was in New York because I was there for a week performing, and I came back with about 6 of them, just because I was gone for so long. So she's got at least, oh God, I want to say she's probably got like 15 to 20, something like that.
That's a good little collection.
Yeah, and she'll have more because, like I said, it's got to be one from every state now. So we'll see.
You got even more of a reason to visit every state.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Now every time I get booked in a new state, she goes, "Oh, okay, so I'm getting a new owl." You go, "Yeah, you're getting one."
Yeah.
she's already planning for it every time now.
Love that. Love that. Well, Cody, I'm very happy that you came on to join us. I feel like this was the most interviewee interview we've ever actually done. Usually it's a shoot the shit kind of thing, but I wanted it to be an actual interview this go around. And I'm happy that you joined us for sure, for sure. Do you have any
thanks for having me.
you want to do, or
Sorry, what was that?
any shout outs? You want to let anybody that could watch this know where to find you?
Yeah, just follow me. I guess right here. Follow me, Tiano Comedy, TikTok, Instagram. If I don't know if you guys actually have any fans in West Virginia, but help me fill that up, because like I said, it's one of my bigger venues so far. So if you're in Wheeling, West Virginia on the 23rd, come check me out. And then when I'm in Alabama, let me get my dates pulled up. I'll be in Huntsville on the 28th, and that one, I believe, let me find it's at Grimaldi's. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I'm performing there. That one's a more family-friendly show. Not normally my speed, but still got me into Alabama. The 29th, I'll be in Mobile. And the 31st, I'll be in Fort Payne, headlining at the Rusty Barrel Saloon. So come check me out there.
Heck yeah, that sounds super neat.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you fill up that. I'm gonna say you will. I'm not gonna say I hope. I say you will fill up that hall. You will have a great performance at all 3 places in Alabama. I didn't know about that saloon, but I mean, it sounds fun. So maybe I should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on out.
But I appreciate you joining us. I'm going to close out our show now. I'm also going to message you, and I'll say it right here if it's okay. There's a podcast called Less Than Fresh a movie podcast. I'll probably like to they want to talk to Bo over here because he's a cinephile. And I mean, you seem to have an interesting taste in movies, so maybe you can hit them up if you'd like.
Oh, yeah. Movies are what raised me. So
that's fair. I mean, if I say that, then it's all terrifying horror movies that scared the hell out of me.
Same.
It sounds like Mac. Yep. He's got a weenie dog.
Oh yeah, that's what mine is, the one laying in the chair, and then I've got my big boy whining at me right now, wanting to go outside.
Yeah. Yep, sounds about right. We've got on my side, we've got a pit bull and a Doberman husky. Don't get a husky. Good Lord.
Oh, I had one for like a few months, and it was a little bit of a terror. It tried to kill our cat, but this big boy, just you can't really see him, but I've had him. He just turned 10 in July. He is a bloodhound mixed with a lab.
Oh, okay. That's where those ears come from.
Yep. That ears and that droopy face.
No.
My Buster baby.
Love them. All right, we're gonna cut this off. I'm closing out. Honestly, I'm so hungry, guys. I'm so hungry.
Hey, it was nice talking to you, Cody. I appreciate you coming on to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to meet you, Bo.
We'll chat with you in the future, and hopefully you pop up on the Friday night games from time to time.
All right. Have a good night, you two.
You too. Bye.
Bye.